So we have done yesterday muscles of the front of the arm. Okay, then we will complete the muscles of the anterior compartment of the forearm, and then we will go to the posterior compartment of arm and forearm in that order. Okay. So now what are the, do you remember what are the various muscles we have in the anterior compartment of forearm? So in the anterior compartment of forearm, now if you go with the previous picture, see here, what are the two bones we have? The medial bone is ulna and the lateral bone is radius. Okay, between the radius and ulna we have interosseous membrane. The front compartment is anterior compartment, also called as flexor compartment, and the compartment which is behind is posterior compartment, also called as extensor compartment. So we have two compartments, right? Okay. Now let us see. Now we are going to discuss anterior compartment, which is also called as flexor compartment. So we have muscles, vessels and nerves. So we'll see what are the various muscles there. Can you name the vessels in the forearm? Yesterday only we have named them. Brachial artery at the neck of the radius, we have seen it was dividing into radial and ulnar artery. That means in the anterior compartment, we have to discuss about radial and ulnar artery also. Okay, then we have nerves. What are the nerves you see in the forearm? Anterior compartment, median nerve, radial nerve, ulnar nerve. All three nerves will be visible. Okay. Okay, fine. Now see, try to recollect and think as though you are in dissection hall, beta. So it becomes more live for you. Okay. Yesterday we have done cubital fossa, right? So which is the medial boundary here? So this one is medial. Okay, where we have pronated teres. This is the medial aspect, and where we have brachioradialis, this muscle what we have studied yesterday as one of the boundaries of cubital fossa. This is lateral boundary. So we have one is medial boundary and the other is lateral boundary. Now let's start naming the muscles. Do you remember I told you medial epicondyle of the humerus is common flexor origin, isn't it? Or
Yes.
flexor tendencies. Okay. So now let us see what are the various muscles we find in the flexor compartment. First muscle we have is pronator teres. Then we have flexor carpi radialis. Then we have palmaris longus. Then we have flexor digitorum superficialis. Then flexor carpi ulnaris. This is found in superficial compartment. That means as soon as you reflect the skin, these are the muscles we find. Once you retract these muscles to one side, then if you remember, we also have underlying muscles deep to flexor digitorum superficialis. We have flexor digitorum profundus and flexor pollicis longus and pronator quadratus. We will see pictures, very good pictures. Okay, what is the name of this muscle I told with cubital fossa?
Brachioradialis.
Very good. Brachioradialis is not studied here because this is one of the muscles from extensor compartment. Because now this is brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis. This picture goes on in this direction. Okay, we are now only bothered about these muscles, okay, which are seen in the anterior.
Ma'am, your voice is stuck. I mean, I
Okay,
can't hear you.
you can't hear me better now also. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Hema? Hello? Can you hear me now, Hema?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, beta. So we have these muscles in the front. So the very first muscle what we have here is pronator teres. Okay. Then we have, this is towards the thumb. That's why flexor carpi radialis. Okay. This muscle will have small belly and long tendon. That is palmaris longus. Then we have flexor carpi ulnaris. Okay. Now let us see the origin insertion of these muscles. Now first we are talking about pronator teres. Yesterday also when I was talking about pronator teres, I told you it has two heads. Humeral head and ulnar head. Which nerve is passing between these two heads? Emma? MBBR is the code.
Okay, so superficial branch of radial nerve.
That will be later, no,
No.
beta? What is the
Okay,
first
I don't know,
one?
ma'am.
First M, B,
Median nerve.
median nerve. Yeah, very good.
Okay.
Median nerve. Okay.
Okay.
Now, see, one uniform thing you try to remember. Whatever flexor compartment muscles we are talking about now, they are all supplied by median nerve. You have two exceptions, I'll tell you. Except flexor carpi ulnaris and flexor digitorum profundus medial half. Every muscle is supplied by only one nerve. What is that nerve we have here?
Median nerve.
Median nerve. Okay, now origin very easy, beta. It is having humeral head coming from the medial epicondyle, which is common flexor origin. Ulnar head is coming from the medial border of coronoid process of ulna. Okay, insertion. It is coming and getting inserted into the tuberosity, that is called as pronator tuberosity, which is what is the name of this bone? Radius.
Radius.
Middle 1/3 of the shaft of the radius. If you write this much also enough. What is the nerve supply? Median nerve.
Median.
The action is, it is bringing about the pronation. You see, if the palm is facing upwards, you call it as supination. Okay, and this movement is pronation. Okay, supination, and then we have pronation. Okay, kings pronate, beggars supinate, beggars supinate, something like that. So this is supination and this is pronation. Like that you can remember easily. Okay, so the name implies pronator teres. It is helping in the pronation of forearm at the radio-ulnar joint. Okay, it's also bringing about the flexion of forearm at the elbow joint. Now next, second muscle we have common flexor origin, which is very simple. That is flexor carpi radialis. From this picture only you can make out that is the origin. Insertion, where are you finding better? These are metacarpal bones. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is the base of the second metacarpal, but the tendon may also go and get attached to the third metacarpal as well. What is the nerve supply?
Median nerve.
Median nerve. Okay, flexor, the word flexor, that means it is bringing about flexion of hand at the wrist joint. Then it is also bringing about abduction of the hand at wrist joint. Abduction is when you move it away. Adduction is when you bring it close to midline. Okay, then we have palmaris longus. Palmaris longus is called as degenerate muscle. From where is it coming? Same, all origin same, but a common flexor origin. You can remember blindly. Medial epicondyle of the humerus, common flexor origin. Insertion is, see, actually this is a degenerate muscle which is fanning out in the palm to form one modified structure which is called as palmar aponeurosis. Okay, and it is thickening also in front of the wrist joint to form flexor retinaculum. That means the tendon is coming and getting inserted into the palmar aponeurosis and flexor retinaculum. What is the nerve supply? Median nerve.
Median.
Okay, action same like flexor carpi radialis, just now what we have studied. Flexion of hand at wrist joint. Okay, see, this is the palmaris longus tendon. Is actually fanning out in the palm to form this specialized structure. What is the name of this structure?
Palmaris aponeurosis.
Palmar aponeurosis. Very good. Palmar aponeurosis. Okay, next muscle we have is flexor carpi ulnaris. So this also has two heads of origin. One is common flexor origin coming from the medial epicondyle of the humerus. Then the ulnar head is coming from the olecranon process, medial aspect, and also posterior border of the shaft of the ulna. Okay, now see here, flexor carpi ulnaris, as the name is telling us, it's medial most muscle, ulna bone, ulnaris muscle. It is going and getting inserted into the pisiform. In fact, actually pisiform is considered as, what type of bone is the pisiform bone?
Sesamoid.
Very good. Sesamoid bone which is ossified in the tendon of flexor carpi ulnaris. Okay, beta? That is. So it is getting inserted in the pisiform, okay, and also into the hook of the hamate and base of the fifth metacarpal bone. See, I told you we have few exceptions. One exception muscle is ulnaris muscle. As the name implies, ulnaris. Okay, the name of the nerve supplying is also ulnar nerve. Okay, it is ulnar nerve. Action, same thing, but a flexion of wrist, hand at the wrist joint, and this is close to the midline. No, that's why it is bringing about adduction of hand at the wrist joint. Okay, radialis was bringing abduction. It is towards thumb, whereas ulnaris is bringing adduction because it is very
Okay.
close to the little finger. Okay, that is flexor carpi ulnaris. This is all ulnaris. Then see here. After you remove, I will take you back to that picture so that now you will come to know this is very good Netter circulus picture. As soon as you remove the skin, you will see pronator teres, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, then flexor carpi ulnaris. If you remove these four muscles, underlying this big bulky muscle will be seen, that is flexor digitorum superficialis. That is found in the second strata, second layer. If you just consider them to be layers, the first four muscles come under first layer. If you remove this, you will see the second row muscle, second layer, second strata, that is the flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay. Now see, that's how it is such bulky. This is completely one muscle only, beta. Quite wide, right? Such big muscle. Okay. So that means it also, see, common flexor origin is coming from the humerus, and it also has humeral head, which is coming from the medial border of the coronoid process. Radial head, see, it has oblique line of the anterior surface of the shaft. That means three bones are involved in the origin of this muscle, flexor digitorum superficialis. Now, digitorum word, what does it mean? Digitorum means its tendon is splitting into four slips. See here, see this digitorum, see 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, that is the meaning of digitorum. Now, next muscle also has name digitorum. This is flexor digitorum superficialis. Below this, you will have flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, like that. So now see here, insertion, its tendon is dividing in like how many tendons? Four tendons which are like inserted into the sides of the middle phalanges. Okay, this is proximal phalanx, this is middle phalanx, and this is distal. Okay, so that is it is getting inserted into the sides of the middle phalanges of the medial four fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is also which nerve? I only told two exceptions. I'll ask you at the end.
Mid.
This is also universal. If you forget everything, flexor compartment, one nerve you remember, that is median nerve. Okay, beta? Then. So action is flexion of the proximal interphalangeal joint. Okay, these are interphalangeal joint. These knuckles are metacarpophalangeal joints. Knuckles. Okay, so the flexion at the interphalangeal joints and the flexion at the metacarpophalangeal joints is brought about by the action of flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay, then. So you can see very nicely, beta. See, are you finding this muscle here with green tendons? Okay, so these green tendons are nothing but the flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay, underneath this you will have flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, one below the other. They are arranged below the flexor retinaculum. This nicely you can see how this flexor digitorum superficialis stretched between humerus, medial border of the coronoid process of the ulna, oblique line of the radius. Then it goes deep to the flexor retinaculum. Four tendons, they split into two and they get inserted on the base of the middle phalanx. Okay, nerve supply,
Median nerve.
median. Action, flexion at the interphalangeal joint and metacarpophalangeal joint, knuckles. Okay, that's. Now you have removed successfully flexor digitorum superficialis. Now you are seeing one more muscle beta. What is this? Flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, then see this is in third strata. If you just consider it as layers, first layer you saw three muscles, second layer you saw one big muscle, third layer you are again finding three muscles, 1, 2 and 3. Flexor digitorum profundus, flexor pollicis longus and pronator quadratus. Pronator quadratus. Okay. So see, this is the pollicis longus muscle. So pollicis means what, beta? What is the meaning of pollex? Means thumb. Okay, that is. So origin is, it is coming from the anterior surface of the middle of the shaft of which bone? Radius, and adjoining part of interosseous membrane. Insertion is, it is coming to the base of the distal phalanx of the thumb. Okay, the nerve supply is median nerve. Blindly you remember, but all muscles except flexor digitorum profundus,
Profundus.
medial half, and flexor carpi
Ulnaris.
ulnaris. Only two. Rest all are median. If you want to be more specific, it is anterior interosseous branch. Posterior interosseous nerve is a branch of radial nerve. I'm introducing few terms. Anyhow, all nerves I will take in detail because all are essays. Okay. Anterior interosseous nerve, which is a branch of median nerve. Action is, it is helping in the flexion of thumb. Okay.
Okay.
Next, we have flexor digitorum profundus. Digitorum. What is the meaning of digitorum?
Fingers.
Digitorum means
Digits. Four
four,
fingers.
4 digits, 4 fingers, right? Okay, now it is, let us see the origin. Upper 3/4 of the anterior surface of the shaft of the ulna, okay, and adjoining part of interosseous membrane. Muscle is dividing into 4 tendons, which are piercing the tendons of first muscle. What was the first muscle? Flexor digitorum superficialis. And I'll show you a very good picture. They are inserted into the basis of distal phalanx of 4 fingers. Second, third, fourth, and fifth. Counting starts with thumb better. Remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Though little finger is medial, we don't count from here, we count from thumb. Okay, now let us see the action. Nerve supply, I told you flexor digitorum profundus. Medial half is supplied by ulnar nerve. Rest all, big bulky muscle, no? Rest all is supplied by median nerve only. Okay, blindly if you write median nerve for the flexor compartment, you can just write like flexor carpi ulnaris is supplied by ulnar, rest all are median is also correct. Because it is hybrid muscle. Hybrid means what? When the muscle has dual nerve supply, if it is supplied by 2 nerves, then it is called as hybrid muscle. Okay, beta? This is supplied by 2 nerves. One is laterally median nerve, medially ulnar nerve. Okay. Then action is the flexion of distal interphalangeal joints of the medial 4 fingers. Okay. Same thing what we studied with the flexor digitorum superficialis, isn't it? But 100% same action. Okay, flexion at distal interphalangeal, then flexion at interphalangeal and metacarpophalangeal joints. And not only that, helps in flexion of the hand at wrist joint. Is it clear? That is profundus. Now see here. Now you can see both. I told you green tendons are flexor digitorum superficialis. White tendons are going deep to the superficialis. We have flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, so you can see these green ones are flexor digitorum superficialis, which are cut now. Now you see piercing these tendons. I told you digitorum superficialis splits into 2, right? You can see splitting here, splitting into 2. Whereas flexor digitorum profundus is going deep to the superficialis, and where is it getting inserted? This is our distal phalanx. No, this is proximal phalanx, this is middle phalanx, this is distal phalanx. So base of the distal phalanx. Is it clear? Now I'll take you back to this point. It becomes easy insertion. Flexor digitorum profundus is dividing how many tendons? 4. They are piercing the tendons of which muscle?
Superficialis.
Flexor digitorum superficialis. Where are they getting inserted? Bases of the
Distal phalanx.
distal phalanx of medial 4 fingers. These are the bases. 1, 2, 3. Okay, beta. Now you can see wristband type of muscle here. After removing all story, you remove. You have removed pronator teres, then flexor digitorum, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, then flexor digitorum superficialis. Then we have seen flexor digitorum profundus, flexor pollicis longus, then pronator quadratus. If you remove all, then you can see pronator quadratus. Okay, origin is Then lower 1/4. See, this is all what it is. 1/4 of the anterior. That means it is moving from one bone to other bone. When I was discussing osteology, also I have shown you lower 1/4 of the anterior surface of the shaft of the ulna. Then same from ulna it comes and to radius it ends. Lower 1/4 of the anterior surface of the shaft of the radius. Same sentence. Here you have to replay. For origin you write ulna word. For insertion you write radius word. That's it. Okay. Nerve supply. Which nerve?
Medium.
Anterior portions. Branch. As the name implies, what does it do? What is the action it does? Pronation.
Pronation.
No, this pronator tear is also pronation. Pronator quadrate is also pronation of forearm at these joints. This is superior radial ulnar joint. This is inferior radial ulnar joint. Interosseous membrane represents middle radial ulnar joint. Okay, that is. Now let us try to see this layout of the structures what we have studied just now, because just now you have studied muscles, it becomes easy for you. You can also remember palm. When we study palm, we have thenar space, mid palmar space. That also will become easy if you understand this picture. Skin you have reflected, then you will find superficial fascia. What is the name of this muscle? Four tendons.
Superficialis.
Flexor
Flexor
digitorum.
digitorum superficialis.
Below flexor digitorum superficialis, what tendons will pass?
Profundus.
Flexor digitorum profundus. What is the tendon which is passing towards thumb? One is the flexor carpi radialis.
Radialis.
Okay, rest all muscles we will study in extensor compartments. Now you will not understand. I will tell you in our following classes. Okay. Now see here, if you observe what is this tendon? Green tendon? Blue.
Superficialis.
Very good. Below this orange tendon?
Quadrate.
Profundus.
Profundus. Sorry.
Flexor digitorum profundus. Now, if you observe these tendons, are they not enclosed in a synovial sheath? Okay. Do you remember I told you wherever there is friction, there is extension of synovial membrane, which is leading
Bursa.
to very good bursa. Okay. So if it is present towards the little finger, you call it as which bursa, beta? Ulnar bursa.
Okay.
No, medial side. Then towards the thumb, we have radius bone, radial bursa. Okay. So these are actually called as fibrous flexor sheaths or the synovial sheaths of fingers. That means so much friction is there, but our tendons should be well protected, lubrication should be there. So all common tendons are enclosed in synovial sheath. Individual tendons are also enclosed in synovial sheaths. Towards the digits, you call it as a digital synovial sheath, and these are bursae. Okay, towards little finger you call it as ulnar bursa, and towards the thumb or radius bone you call it as radial bursa. Okay, that is. Now these are Netter's pictures again, because this many pictures I kept because when you go for practicals you should have this idea. Okay, can you name this muscle better? Flexor carpi radialis, isn't it? Then this is palmaris longus.
Palmaris longus.
ये वाले
Ulnaris.
flexor carpi ulnaris. Very good.
Ulnaris.
ये three bones are participating. Flexor
Flexor digitorum superficialis.
flexor digitorum superficialis. ये भी कट करके निकाल दो. This also you remove. इसके नीचे what do you find? Flexor digitorum
Flexor pollicis longus.
flexor pollicis longus. अच्छा, ये भी निकाल देने के बाद you will see one brisk band muscle over here. What is that?
Quadratus.
हाँ, very good.
Quadratus.
Very good. Pronator quadratus. These are three strata I said. ये first वाला है, ये बीच वाला है, ये नीचे वाला है. 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So like that you should be. These are all tables, but better than this.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
pronator quadratus also belongs to the third strata, ma'am.
Yeah, but third strata we can do.
Okay.
Or if you want to keep it under fourth strata, also up to you, because unless you remove these muscles or retract the tendons of these muscles, we can't see that muscle better. Okay. So whatever we have studied is given here, beta. This is for your easy review. Okay, you can just go through this, but in my PowerPoint I have kept picture and explanation so that you can understand easily. but this is the same thing. Now to continue with, yesterday we have studied arm, front of the arm, till cubital fossa. So what is the name of this artery? Number one,
Brachial.
brachial artery. Where is the brachial artery dividing? What is the dividing
The neck
point?
of radius.
Excellent. The neck of the radius. What are the terminal branches of the brachial artery?
Radial and
Radial and ulnar
Very
artery.
good. Radial and ulnar artery. Remember yesterday from the radial, see this is thumb. Obviously thumb means lateral side. Little finger means medial side. Towards thumb, are you finding one artery going behind? What do you call it as?
Yeah.
Which is?
recurrent.
Recurrent.
Did you study anastomosis around elbow joint? I asked you to read.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, very good, Hansraj. I appreciate. Very good. Beta. Don't keep anything in pending. I told you within 1 week, not more than that, we will be finishing this. And most probably next Sunday, I will put your exam in upper limit. Okay? Next Sunday. I'm informing you 8-9 days before. Okay, so this is radial recurrent. Then we have superficial radial branch also, deep radial branches. These are the branches coming from radial artery. Then we have ulnar artery also. Ulnar artery, what the one which goes behind, you call it as anterior ulnar recurrent.
Anterior recurrent and posterior.
Anterior recurrent and posterior. These two also take part in the formation of anastomosis. No? So see here, beta. This is common interosseous. ये वाली. Number 8. Which is coming from which artery? This is ulnar.
Allah.
From ulnar, you have common interosseous. From common interosseous, what is the membrane present between radius and ulnar called as?
Interosseous membrane.
In front of the interosseous membrane, what is the name of the artery? Anterior interosseous. Very good. The one which goes behind, yeah, number 9 wala, पीछे जा रही.
Posterior.
Posterior.
Posterior interosseous.
If it is coming in front, you use the word anterior interosseous. If it is going behind, you use the word posterior interosseous. Okay, that is. Then, so number 10, whatever has been shown here is anterior interosseous. Then if you observe like this, can you see there is an arch which is formed in the palm? This is the palmar arch. Okay, we will have superficial palmar arch and deep palmar arch. So, nerves anyhow I'll discuss in detail, but just to finish this. See, I told you we will see all the 3 nerves. Okay, what are those? What is this first muscle? This small muscle? Conator teres, right?
Okay.
So, what is the nerve which is piercing the conator teres?
Median nerve.
ये वाली median. Okay, so this is little finger side. So, little finger side, which nerve we have?
Ulnar.
Okay, and here below brachioradialis, yesterday I told you. Radial. So are you finding all the 3 nerves here?
Yeah.
This I will elaborate separately, but when I take the 3 nerves. Radial artery, we have radial artery, ulnar artery. Okay. This supracondylar fracture, this is, I have discussed in osteology also. Above the condyles, sometimes like you have the condyles no, in the humerus in the lower end. Capitulum is there, trochlea is there, isn't it? The medial epicondyle and lateral epicondyle. So if there is any damage over there, yesterday also I told you, supracondylar fracture. Okay, there may be damage to brachial artery and it may lead to Volkmann's ischemic contracture. Okay, this is, you can see the X-ray over here. Okay, above the condyles, the fracture. Okay, that is Volkmann's ischemic contracture. Nothing but contracture, muscles will contract. Okay, so generally because of the fracture of the distal end of the humerus. Okay, so in this syndrome, a part of the brachial artery is undergoing spasm. Spasm means what? Rapid contraction of blood vessel is called as spasm. If there is any spasm is there, always blood supply will be hampered. That's the reason muscles are not receiving any blood supply and they are undergoing ischemic necrosis. Due to non-availability of blood supply, the muscle is undergoing necrosis. Okay. Flexor muscles are larger than extensor muscles. Maybe when we discuss extensor, you will come to it. Okay? So, and they are therefore the ones mainly affected. Which muscles are mainly affected? Flexor muscles. Because they are more in number. So many are there, no? How many we have seen? Pronator teres, flexor carpi, radialis, palmaris
7.
longus, flexor carpi, ulnaris, flexor digitorum, superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus, flexor pollicis longus, then pronator quadratus. How many beta altogether? 9.
9. Okay.
So, because there is no proper blood supply, it is leading to the formation of fibrous tissue. Okay. So much is given, not left. You can see better. So this is contracture here. Volkmann systemic contracture. Itis means what? Inflammation. Okay. So anyhow, ulnar nerve injury and all I will discuss when we are going with that. Okay, hope you understood.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute, I will also